Happy Commercialism Day!
Jam on toast!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Jam. I'm Cameron, today the toast is to Jingle All the Way. Even though SourceFed kind of told us all to fuck off for a week, this is still a response to SourceFedNerd. You can click the thing to go to the thing. So the short sell on this one is that a workaholic dad ends up doing some last minute Christmas shopping to find his kid the perfect toy so that he doesn't disappoint him again. What I loved for this one was the cameo by Paul White, the Big Show. Probably at this time he was with WCW, known as the Giant, but he was the big Santa Claus that got to pick Arnold up. My head, it was the reindeer. I know it's a plot device for Phil Hartman's character, but I don't think it was well done. I don't think it was well executed or planned or anything. Take it out and the movie actually would improve, I'm pretty sure. While Phil Hartman and Sinbad and the kid even are all really funny and great, Arnold Schwarzenegger carried this movie just by being his ridiculous self. Not even necessarily for looking the part or acting the part, but just being able to pull off the most ridiculous little lines and situations that categories. Aesthetics. Look, I know this movie's a little bit older, but some inexcusable special effects. The silly stand-ins were like, they got him in the jetpack and he's spinning off. It's a static picture that they're taking and rotating in a spiral. What? The reindeer's just friggin' awful looking. I don't know why they even bothered. I think somebody was just like, wouldn't it be funny if he got drunk with the reindeer and they had to build all this other shit around it? But where this movie lacks in technical wonder, they use a lot of physical comedy that if you just watch this thing on mute, you're probably going to giggle here or there just because it's ridiculous that Sinbad hits him with a mail bag, that they're tripping and fighting over all this. When Arnold shows up in the Turbo Man costume, I can't figure out why his character didn't piece it together, but it's kind of funny just watching that whole scene where Sinbad's in the Brainiac costume, but it does what it needs to do. It doesn't look that good when it's doing it, but it sets it up and it makes you kind of smile at the movie, even if you're not thinking about what's happening. Aesthetics gets a 75. Character development. I think we got more development on the kid than anyone else in the whole thing. Yes, we kind of learn about Schwarzenegger and Sinbad and how their characters kind of determine what lengths they're really willing to go to and who they are as a person as far as their morality goes. We actually get a little bit on Phil Hartman's character too, because at first maybe he just looks like a friendly guy, and then we kind of see that he's trying to bone everybody's wives, or at least Schwarzenegger's. But I think they really cheapened Sinbad and Schwarzenegger's character development, especially in the beginning. We don't know anything about these guys until about halfway through the movie when they've already gone through all this stuff and we're piecing together through their actions what their morals might be. Because all we know is that he's kind of a workaholic and that he misses his kid's stuff, which is tear-jerking, but it gives us more development on the kid and maybe the family as a whole than Schwarzenegger's character himself. And maybe his character isn't really that important other than he doesn't want to disappoint his kid again. So while it's not the best, there are certainly far worse movies to look at for character development. Character development gets a 60. Storyline. I actually found this to be a really good story. You can mix it up, you can change a few things, and you have a pretty decent formula in place. He's challenging himself through adversity throughout the entire movie. He really overcomes things at different points, and he has that great motivation to support his family and win the heart of his kid. So I think you could probably take any set of actors and change up a few little things to make it a little better for the actors, but this story itself would be really good. You don't need the big fight scene at the parade, but the fact that the kid ends up giving away the doll is not only noble, but definitely important to the story itself. It really what makes it and sells the fact that it's supposed to be about giving and being selfless. Storyline gets an 85. Compulsion. This is a pretty funny show. It's not really the best, but it keeps you entertained and it keeps you on your toes because you're not always expecting things. And then the things you expect, you're like, oh God, is that going to happen? They telegraph it just a little bit for you so the adults can piece it together and the kids wouldn't see it coming. It's very hard to balance a movie for all ages, and because you've got to be able to throw humor in there for kids and humor in there for adults, or at least relatable content. if not humor. And that is not always the best thing. This movie pretty much nails it in that respect. For someone who's watched a lot of movies and isn't necessarily the biggest fan of the focus of the movie, which is the Christmas season, it kind of droned on for me, and maybe I was tired. There's other things I could have been doing. Compulsion gets an 80. Now, if you total all that up, you get an average of 75. For my rep review, I've got to say this is a silly movie just built on ridiculousness, and that makes it good. It makes it entertaining. I'll always remember this, but I don't know how often I'll go back and watch it. Even going through like Christmas movies, probably not going to be in my top 10. However, if you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out and have a good time with it. Again, if you have kids and you need a movie for all ages, throw it in. It's a good time. That's it for me. I'm Cameron. Have a nice day. If you want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations, and they'll take you to our other channels.